much for your time and just give a little background. You are a #1 Billboard charted musician, a writer, a producer, a Navy veteran, a philanthropist. You have a lot of titles that you wear, and you do them so well. But today I wanted to talk to the side of you that is an artist and a musician, primarily in the hip hop culture, and your personal story with Takeoff. Because we talk about the Migos, we talk about the influence they had not only here in Atlanta but across hip hop. I want to get into a lot of that with you here today. So, just give me a little bit of background. You actually met Takeoff and the rest of the Migos pretty early in your career.
Yeah, so I met them and Takeoff met them through Ray J. Ray J is my brother. And Brandon been knowing Ray J for a long time, and he was doing a video shoot and doing this record, and he had introduced me, and he was like, "Hey man, this group is." He was like, "Hey, this is B.Taylor," and I remember him specifically with Takeoff going, "Hey, this is B.Taylor. This is what he's doing. Watch out for him." And he was like, "Hey B, they got a different sound. You're gonna see them blow up in the next few months." And like right after that, it was just like they took off and they just became huge and it was crazy. And I'm texting Ray, I'm like, "Ray, is that Migo?" He's like, "I told you a few months ago, they were going to be big." And so that's what how I end up meeting them and everything, for
And
sure.
before we started this interview, I got a chance to talk to you a little bit about who Takeoff was as a person, and you described him as humble and just a down to earth guy. Can you talk a little bit more about him?
Yeah, real humble. Just every time I see him, he would always be like, "Man, I love what you're doing with the military and the vets and Motown. Keep going." And I would say the same to him. Very cool, chill, no ego, no nothing. Just a very humble, even though he was a superstar. Very humble. And saw him, in Vegas, the day I actually met one of my executive assistants, he was down playing craps at the tables, and we ran into each other, and I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, same thing, same demeanor, like man, keep doing that brand, keep doing what you're doing, man." And I told him the same thing. So it was always, and I was like, "Man, we got to get together and do something." We would always talk about it, but just schedules and everything. But he was just like a really cool, humble person, for it. It's just devastating, that this happened. And, this has to stop. This just has to stop because there's no room for this anymore.
And part of why I wanted to talk to you today here, as someone in the music industry and someone who knew Takeoff and the Migos, was their influence on hip hop. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, just the sound, they were like a modern day, their flow style was just hadn't been heard in this they were like this generation's like revolutionary with the style of flow. I mean, it just they brought it from Atlanta, and just made that sound in their way they were delivering and their lyrics, like a melodic kind of, almost like a present day Thug Bones and Harmony kind of, but in a whole different way. And it was just, they just did a lot, for the culture, and it's just sad to see over a game of dice, Takeoff, who was just a humble spirit, man, gone like that. So I just feel like we must come together as a community, and this has to stop because we're losing a lot of rappers. Every month it's just rest in peace. I knew Nipsey. I met Pop Smoke 2 weeks before he died. Got introduced to him. He was on his way. He passed, got shot, and then a month and a half ago, PM Rock was shot with his girlfriend, and now Takeoff, the most humblest dude, you know, is gone. And it's just like, we need to stop this, for our communities. That's not what music is. I'm blessed to be mentored and discovered by Motown legends who, from Smoking the Miracles in my, early in my career, from, some of them have passed: Joe Jackson, Pete Moore of the Miracles, Barry Gordy, Aretha Franklin was in the beginning with me, like these legends, told me music is make timeless music and make it for inspiration, and make it to help people and bring people together. And that's what's not happening in hip hop culture. It's like we're making music and these guys are making lots of music, but then going back to their communities and just getting shot and killed. And it begins back in our communities, the black communities, with the families, back. with our families, and teaching younger people of how to have respect and love and put the guns down. And if you got any squabble with anybody, you can use your fist, or whatever, but you don't have to go trigger happy. And that's what's happening right now. It's just robbing and just killing just over little stuff. And we're losing so many guys, especially rappers, before they're even 30. And it's just sad.
And the news of, Takeoff's death came as such a shock to a lot of people. But as you said, the comment we see time and time again was another rapper shot or another instance of gun violence. Why do you think that is?
It's just, I feel like, the music, it's starting with the family, man. I feel like, you could sit down with a lot of legends and older people back in the day, and if you were acting up as a kid, the community would get you. Your uncle, somebody's brother, the uncle, cousin, you were gonna get it till you got to your parents. And I feel like now there's no sense of respect at all. And guys are getting out trying to make some of themselves, putting money back in the community, putting jobs and families, making a lot of money, giving opportunities. When they go back to the community, it's just a lot of jealousy. And I feels like it starts from young. We gotta nip this stuff in the butt at a young age and start raising these our young men to have respect and to be successful. And not, if you don't make it in rap, don't be jealous. There's other things. One of my buddies that sits on my nonprofit board, he plays with the Washington Redskins, Charles Leno. He has a company called Beyond the Entertainer, and that is what I feel like is great with his nonprofit. There's other jobs beyond the entertainer, like accounting. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a manager, you can be a business person, you can do all these different things, financials, just a bunch of things you can do if you don't make it in the music business or hip hop, so that you don't have to be jealous. You can say, you know what, I probably didn't make it in rap or hip hop. I'm not the next Drake or Migos or whatever. But you know what? If I work hard, I can be a lawyer for that guy. I can be an engineer for this. I can be this guy's auto mechanic. I can be his health wellness coach. There's so many different things beyond the entertainer. And I feel like our culture just pushes, sports and music. You gotta be the face. Not everybody's gonna be Migos. Not everybody's gonna be Drake. Not everybody's gonna be Jay-Z or Snoop. But what you can do, you can add to these people's career in a positive way without having all the jealousy going on. And I feel like that's what our culture has to start with our kids at a young age, of teaching love and coming together and handling things in love and respect. And also saying, hey, man, it's okay if you don't make it as a hip hop. You don't have to be jealous when they come back to the community. What can I do to be a part? What other traits can I do if I want to get into the music business? What other things can I be? An executive, for a record label? Can I be a CEO of a record label? So many other things and that's what we need to push, that beyond the entertainer.
When we talk
And
about hip hop, we talk about rap, which literally stands for rhythm and poetry. That is an entirely different language that a certain amount of people can speak and can leave emotions with their listeners and resonate with an audience. And that's part of what a lot of people have said the Migos did. And they did it in a unique way, as you described. I want to move the attention back to Takeoff for a moment.
yeah,
Uh, what was his lasting? I mean, as you think back on him, his last gift that he left hip hop with and rap.
I just think my thing with him is the humbleness. You can be a superstar, and be humble. You can be the biggest in the world and be humble. And he was just a very no problems with anybody. If you're gonna, you will never. There was no problems with anybody in the business, and you can be great and still be humble. And I feel like that's the thing that we should all strive for. Myself as well, been blessed, and I think we can all take something from that. That if you get the opportunity to make a difference in the world as a public figure, you can be humble. I think humbleness is the best thing. And my father always would say, as my dad's a reverend, he says, a man's name is more precious than any riches or glory. And I really believe that your name, and I felt like Takeoff's name is more precious than any riches or glory. And for, prayerfully, Quavo and Offset and his family and kids will let his name live on because he did have a great name. And that's a true phrase. And I always keep that in mind that my father told me. And I feel like Takeoff's name will live and work, and his body of work will live beyond him.
B.Taylor, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know this isn't an easy conversation to have as the community grieves, especially his mother, his family. The Migos are a family. I think people remember that. What do you want people to walk away with at the end of the day?
Just walk away, with love, man. I think we need more love, in the world, and just to be respectful, man, and just understand that, we don't have to. We got to get this gun violence. I mean, we're losing young black men. We're using babies in schools. I mean, it's just all over the place, and I feel like it starts with inner. We need to preach and push more love and respect and how to handle things, and work on this mental health situation that's going on in this country. And, I feel like it begins with the youth. We have to get people when they're young to teach them respect and honor and love and how to handle things better. And I think that is, if we're going to nip it in the bud, it has to